So you want to get really good at aiming in FPS games in Overwatch? Well, quite easy. You go in here to the practice range, you look Widowmaker because that's sweet ass. Click continue, take your rifle, put it at the bot's head, then 1, 2, 3, shoot. Fuck! Beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Jonal. That's how I actually think that it must be to be a Bronze Mercy main. But besides that, today we're talking about aim software. I used an aim software, me and also my friends, for about a month. I used it maybe a little bit more than a month now. 5 to anywhere to like half an hour a day. I think I landed in about 15 minutes a day, like if I average out my time. But sometimes I did more, sometimes I did less. But I think it landed around like 15-20 minutes a day. This helped me. Even a guy that was very critical of aim software going in, even as a coach, I was very critical because I got to Grandmaster in Overwatch with no real FPS experience before that, prior. As a guy that just used Onabot, really. I just used Onabot, just in-game stuff. I was like, yeah, we know who needs aim training. But after using an aim software, especially the one, I cannot talk for other aim softwares. I can only talk for the one that I used and my friends have used. I think that this is like a really good way to improve your accuracy a lot. And we will not only be talking about aim software, it will be the main focus. Then we will talk a little bit about stuff you need to do while playing whatever game it is, if it's Overwatch, PUBG, whatever. And then at the end, there will also be some couple of tricks that will help you in-game aim better. Like while you're in a match, stuff that in general will make your shots much easier, which is a problem for a lot of people that are private coach. So let's talk about it. Now, I used Aim Hero. It's I think it's about €5 on Steam. Someone that actually has a euros or dollars as their currency can go and check it and hopefully post the price and description because mine is in NOK, but I think I translate to about €5. Relatively cheap, very customizable. That's why I like this software. That's why I've used this software. Very customizable. You can customize the different weapons, the game modes that you're running, and in general, overall good stuff. The drills that I personally ran was I used Classic, which was just more, it's nice, it's a warm-up mode kind of. Then I went over to Fast Aim, which is far more, well, it's for fast aim. You dots appear on the screen, you kind of have to click them fast. I find this to be the most fun mode as I'm competing with myself and just like trying to shoot more consistent, get a higher hit percentage, maybe sometimes trying to shoot a little bit faster. In general, it's an overall fun, like competitive way of doing it, especially if you have something like a TV show or Netflix series, something else to watch while you're doing this. And then I use time trials, and it was only because after using it for a couple of days, I noticed that I had problems rotating in games, especially Overwatch. Compared to all of a sudden my hit scan accuracy was like through the fucking roof. But my rotation when I played Tracer or Genji or something was struggling. Also when I was playing PUBG, doing 180s and whatever, I was struggling with that. So I added the time trial just because it allows me to rotate, and that's mostly what I try to use it for, far more rotating around. There's also a strafing mode where the bot will be strafing that I use sometimes, which is nice if you struggle with counteracting enemy strafing and so on. This can be really nice to do. I personally found that it took too much time. I did a survey on the YouTube channel. People said that they have normally, anywhere in between, about 15 minutes a day. So I think this takes maybe a little bit too much time for some people to do. But if you have the time, then, and especially if you're struggling and new, this will hopefully help. But I cannot stress this enough. Please, don't shoot faster than you can. This is the aim software part. Why we're doing it is to, get comfortable with just the aiming. You need to learn to crawl before you walk and walk before you run, right? This is the crawling phase. Like we're learning the very basic fundamental. So we need to shoot slow. Even I need to shoot slow from time to time. Everybody needs to shoot slow, shoot at their own speed to actually improve. We're not training to spamming the mouse one button. Like this, everybody can do, right? Everybody can spam a mouse one button super fast. You are about hitting all those shots, right? 100% hit accuracy, 90% nickers. That's the part of this. Landing your shot, taking those time will learn your muscle memory. It will kind of think about it as you're registering your muscles to do the hits, right? You don't want to register them to how to miss. You can miss, fight on your own. You don't need to teach yourself how to do that. But hitting the shot, that's what we're training on. So slow down, take your time. Don't play on the most hardest difficulty if you're using the software. If you're using in-game trainers, take your time with the shots. I just talked with a guy that was about, I think it was gold or platinum in Overwatch. He said he had done aim trainers for 2 months, half an hour to an hour a day, and he didn't improve. And when I talked with him, watched his footage and went over it, it was because he's shooting way too fast. Like he's trying to fire at maximum fire speed when the guy is like in gold, and he can't do that. So he needs to slow down to actually start improving. Now, outside of that, That is what I did. I did this about 50 minutes a day. You can't just use name software. Even if you don't have time to play video games, exam period, for example, I have my exam period right now. Playing video games is like, you know how it is having an exam period. It takes time. You don't have that much time to sink into competitive modes or whatever. So at that point, yes, it does help a little bit, but you need to go in games and also play. If you have an in-game aim trainer, for example, in Overwatch, that would be Anabots. In PUBG, that's your training mode, right? Because in CSGO, of course, you have all these cool community maps. All of those are there to train you in different stuff. PUBG, CSGO is, of course, the recon pattern. You need to learn the recon patterns in those games. So you need to go into these and use them. An aim trainer won't just help you. And in Overwatch, it's a lot about the hitboxes, which, of course, in the other games as well. It's a lot about the hitboxes. It's a lot about also the movement in the game. How fluent is your character moving around, and so on. So you need to use these in-game aim trainers as well, if possible, as you're doing this one, as that will teach you hitboxes, it will teach you movement and so on. In Overwatch specifically, I hear this excuse a lot. I'm a projectile player, so I don't need to learn hit scan. What we're training right now is, in theory, hit scan. It's to move your crosshair where the fuck you want it, when you want it, and then clicking the button, right? That's what hit scan is, right? You snap over, when your mouse is right on the head of the enemy team, you mouse one and you get the kill. That's hit scan. So we're training hit scan right now. If you play games with bullet drop and projectile speeds, like an Overwatch with Hanzo, for example, a lot of people don't want to learn hit scan because, oh, I need to learn projectiles. But I know people in gold that knows the projectile speed of Hanzo correctly, down to like the pixels, and can know the bullet drop. But even though you can predict it correctly, if you actually can't move your crosshair to the correct spot and then release, it doesn't matter, right? So that's what we're training on when we're doing these kind of aim trainers. It is to get control over our mouse so we can put it on the exact fucking pixel that their head is, so we can land the shot. Now, outside of that, I want you guys to try, especially depending on what game you're going, because the different movement styles and movement system, right? I don't move that much around when I do the aim trainers in Aim Hero. To go in on whatever, for example, Overwatch on the lobby, put your crosshair on a corner, like this, and then just strafe. And then learn to counteract your own strafing. Very, very common mistake, right? Yeah, you can hit while you're standing still, but in most FPS games, especially if you go higher on a competitive level, we all know you can't stand still, because then you're a bot and you'll get killed. So, while standing still sometimes is really nice, sometimes you just can't stand still. So at that point, we need to learn ourselves to counteract our strafing so that we can add that into our kind of, calculations in our head when we're doing this move, so we can keep our crosshair steady and under control while we're taking difficult shots. Okay, so that is Aim Trainer. The Aim Hero, use that whatever 10-15 minutes a day. That's my recommendation. You whatever in-game Onabot training. Then you have the counteract strafing training. Holy fuck, that was a difficult word to say. So, and then we go over to my tips, my tricks, and so on. Of course, that do all of these slowly. Start slowly, your own speed, then speed up, and make sure that you are high consistent on hits, and so on. Now, then we go over to, and just a quick note, all of this takes time. Remember that. All of this takes time. You won't be Shroud tomorrow, most likely, unless Shroud is watching. Then you already are Shroud, I suppose. But you won't be a god tomorrow, most likely. This takes time. This takes dedication. Just like everything else, you want to get good at martial art, takes time. It takes years of practice. Another thing, tricks, tips. I have my biggest tip. There's a billion tips on how to aim in game. A billion tips. My biggest one is pre-aim corners. You see this a lot in pro players. The Jonal. Most people, I see so many people do this wrong. Because I made videos specifically on this channel on pre-aiming corners. But a lot of people pre-aim wrong. Look at this footage in the background. You can see how I'm not pre-aiming. I'm crosshairing the walls and then running around the walls, right? My crosshair is in the middle of door openings and so on. I'm not pre-aiming corners. I'm not pre-aiming where I'm expecting the enemy team to be. I'm just walking around and thinking I'm pre-aiming. Compared to this, now I'm actually pre-aiming some of the corners. This wasn't maybe the best footage. I just recorded some random stuff, but this is just me just randomly walking through a map, right? I'm trying to put the crosshair on the corners where I'm expecting the enemy team constantly, and I'm running those corners with my crosshair, which again is tying into the counter strafing, which again is tying into me being able to control my mouse and putting it exactly fuck where I want. On top of that, if you're really good, you can do this almost like spastic, I was almost going to call it, where you constantly are like almost like moving your mouse a little bit. You're constantly like flickering it to different spots, checking different angles, checking different stuff. Very stressful way of doing it, but it's a really good way, especially if you're not sure what enemy team is coming from and so on. You want to be prepared. Learning this, especially if you're getting better, you have to be good to do this, because it's such a macro thing. Knowing where the different doors are on the map, for example, in Overwatch with very predetermined map, and constantly being able to like snap onto those corners while you're moving through the maps, while you're checking the maps, helps you not get spawn camped. In general, also just a good muscle memory training technique, because then you know, oh, every time I run for King's Row, just to bring an Overwatch example, oh, I can snap onto these doorways. Because I've done it a billion times, so if anybody actually shoots me, even though I wasn't already looking there, I already know where the doorway is. Muscle memory, I could just snap on it. There we go, right? These things make your aim so much easier. So many people try to flick their mouse across the fucking monitor to hit something, when you can just pre-aim corners, pre-aim areas where enemies are. They will either walk into a crosshair, you can make a very small adjustment to actually hit the shots, and here you get most value out of your aim trainers, because this is exactly what an aim trainer teaches you. Small adjustments to hit the targets in rapid succession. For example, the fast aim one. This is the stuff that you learn from the aim trainers. Add that with knowing your recoil patterns, your bullet drops, and so on from honor bots, from a training mode in PUBG, from CSGO bots. All of these combines into giving you a very robust way of doing it. And another thing that helps out, especially for long-term gaming, is relax. You gotta be relaxed while you take your shot. This is something that I was struggling along with, because we're struggling a lot with like excited with my accuracy, and I went there was stressed a lot when I was firing. Relaxing, just staying relaxed, and having this almost like mellow way where you're more or less just like, I'm just gonna aim here, I'm gonna play like that, not tensing all your muscles and so on, because that get fatigue. I got fatigued the first couple of times I did aim training, which just is a thing, because I was focusing so much on my hand and I was like flexing muscles in it that I shouldn't. Well, now I'm very relaxed to just move around my mouse like it's nothing. So that's also another thing, to relax, take your time, relax, get good, and in that way, and that's also why it's so important to start slow. So you get comfortable, so you can just keep on the same speed, and then speed up, and then all of a sudden start noticing that you start hitting shit that you normally wouldn't hit. That all of a sudden you're very consistent, because you've done these shots a billion times before. Now, liking and subscribing on this video, it took a long time. Shout out to all my friends that helped me out gathering data on these softwares. And so on. So liking, subscribing, and sharing this video around really helps us. We can help everybody improving their accuracy, and of course, so the video, and I get some kind of views on this. Besides that, I would love you guys to go down the comment section right now, tell you how you guys practice your aim. How do you guys get good in accuracy? How do you guys do that? So we can help each other out in the community, because that's exactly what gamers should do. We should help each other out, get better, learn from each other, and from each other's different experiences. But have you done stuff that you found out was not beneficial? Have you done stuff that you found was beneficial instead? All of that, of course, the Discord community, which is an awesome community. I hope I see you in the chats there. My Twitter, my Twitch, all of that linked down in the description. And if you play Overwatch, you want to hire me as a private coach to improve, get better at the game, hit me up on Discord. It's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. Doesn't matter if you bronze stuff for 100, as long as you can get a vault to me, I can help you improve and rank up and get better at the game. Now, that's been all for me today, guys. I love you guys very much. Please take care of yourselves, stay positive, and as always, guys, my name's been Jonal, and you guys know it. Keep the enemy in your crosshair.